forward.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Trump Tourney Track at 2 p.m. on a Friday. It's so good to see Olga Lautman here. Hey, Olga, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We made it through a week. I'm always excited when we make it through a week, you know? And what a week it's been. It's been a crazy
I
week.
know. I know. Every week is crazy and every week gets crazier. And every Friday, I feel like there's always breaking news to end the week off.
It was just
Um,
last Friday that we had the summit. Was that really the last Friday? 1 week since that summit. And look how much has changed in 1 week. We've moved on that story, moved off to so many other stories. Unbelievable how much happens in 1 week.
and we're back to square one with Trump basically ready to fuck off and move on to his next focus, which is not Ukraine, because I think the latest today, he's like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they should fight it out alone, and that's it. So,
The man has no attention span.
yeah, him moving away from us is a good thing. So,
It's day 215 of the administration. We're looking at what happened in the day of 214, but there is some breaking news today, this morning, as John Bolton, the former national security advisor to Donald Trump's home was searched by the FBI. Apparently, they were looking for confidential information, classified information that was used, perhaps, in his book a few years ago. That is a bit of conjecture, but that is the claim that Donald Trump made when that book first came out, is that some of that material that he used, that Bolton used in that book, was classified information. Now, Bolton was not at home, but this is a major thing for the former NSA to have their home searched like this.
yeah, National Security Council. Yeah, and just to pull back a bit, we've seen Trump threatening his opponents. We've seen him weaponizing agencies to go after his opponents. He was extremely angry, and publicly said so, about John Bolton's take on the shameful summit that happened on U.S. soil, bringing a war criminal here. And long and behold, today, not only his house, they're still there conducting the search, but also, I believe, his office.
Correct.
So this is where we are, and this is, Trump basically showing everyone that, he not only has full control of the Department of Justice, but that he is very willing to continue going after his opponents. I mean, the whole thing is absurd. It's honestly, I'm not a Bolton fan. I don't like Bolton. Me and him are completely on the different ends of the spectrum when it comes to this. But the fact that he's using the Department of Justice to go after someone he's been very critical about and who he has said um, that he is going to go after. It's one of his targets, and here we're watching it happen.
The book was called The Rube Where It Happened. It was published in 2020, but it was really contentious at the time. If you remember, Trump tried to stop the publication of that book. There was a whole thing around the impeachment that also came up. So this is not a new feud, but the timing is just awfully suspicious. It's just too bizarre that it comes so close to Bolton's criticisms of the president.
Yes, and you know what? I remember tracking, someone just mentioned the Epstein files. I remember tracking, putting a story in my tracker like a few months ago where basically, I believe it was New York Times or Washington Post, where they said that Trump had a slew of executive orders to sign on days where coverage of the media was unfavorable to him and he wanted to switch off attention. Now, interestingly enough, not only is this happening in short, time between criticism, although Bolton is literally on every single week criticizing Trump, but the fact that today, had there not been searches by the FBI, the media would be focused on the files being transferred to Congress. And now instead we're listening about, what's happening with Bolton. So this is something, one of Trump's tactics to deflect the media and to do something outrageous or sign some kind of executive order that's outrageous every time where there is something that, he's not happy with the coverage or the media is not moving away from a story. And here we are.
I want to make sure I heard you correct. You said he ran a list. He has a list of stories that he can reach into whenever he wants the media distracted. Is that what you said?
No, he has signed executive orders
Okay.
um, where they said from their sources inside the White House that he has executive orders prepared that he
Okay.
can put out the executive order to deflect media, and that way they can focus on whatever the outrage of his executive order
Right.
is.
Like a toolkit of sorts that he can distract the
Yes.
media with. Well, that's not surprising because he seems to do that all the time. So it seems likely he has that. Now, Kash Patel also today tweeting, and this is so unusual for him to say something like this: "No one is above the law." At FBI agents on a mission. Again, this is not, the kind of stuff an FBI director normally tweets as a raid is going on, and certainly not something the vice president would retweet. But that's what happened today.
I, have lived in the Department of Justice files and indictments, I mean, for over a decade. I mean, anytime you are looking for anything that's Russia related that, affects America, I mean, their indictments speak volumes.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that I don't ever recall ever, the FBI behaving this unprofessionally. Whatever they have to say, they say through their indictments. Sometimes they have regular indictments, sometimes they have speaking indictments. And, if they want to tell a story, it's through the indictment. It's not through officials, it's not through Twitter, it's not through Truth Social, and none of the nonsense that we're seeing here. But I mean, this thing is like a banana republic with these crazy people, running it. And I mean, they think they're running a podcast, not the, Federal Bureau of Investigations or Department of Justice or, whatever agency it is.
Speaking of podcasts, today is the expected day that the Epstein files are going to be handed over to the Oversight Committee, at least the beginning of those, as people have mentioned already on our chat here. We don't know when those are coming out. They're not out yet. It can't mean they're very good for Donald Trump. So maybe we'll see them after the close of the markets. We'll see them probably late this evening, maybe, is when those will start coming out. That's typically when they put out stuff that don't want people to pay attention to. But we'll keep an eye out for that and we'll report on that as it
Yeah.
happens.
In the meantime, we could be consumed with, every media outlet right now zoomed in on Bolton.
Yeah, which of course is not what they would be doing on a normal day. This other story that we're leading the tracker with today is quite stunning. A federal judge has ruled that former Trump lawyer Alina Habba has been unlawfully serving as a U.S. attorney in New Jersey since July. The U.S. District Judge Matthew W. Brand wrote in a 77-page ruling that faced with the question of whether Ms. Habba is lawfully performing the functions and duties of the Office of the United States Attorney for the District of New Jersey, I conclude that she is not. Well, this is a remarkable thing. That means everything she's been doing, obviously, is being outside of the law.
Yeah, so just to wind back a bit, she was appointed interim attorney for New Jersey. Her term expired. Obviously she, at least Trump doesn't think she'll be able to pass Senate confirmation hearings, which frankly, if Hegseth and Patel did, I'm not sure why he'd be concerned with her.
Exactly.
So instead, a panel of judges appointed someone. Pam Bondi jumped in immediately within the hour, fired this person, and then again put her as interim attorney. Um, Now, I again have been tracking this, and there are criminal cases that are on hold because the defense attorneys are saying that she is not a lawful person in her position lawfully. So not only is this, banana republic move, I guess I'm in the mood for bananas today, but not only is this freaking lawless move, lawless to begin with, but it's actually interfering with criminal cases in New Jersey. Because if I was a defense attorney, same thing. I'd be like, well, she's not there lawfully, so therefore, until this gets decided, our case should be paused. Um, And finally, it got to a judge yesterday, and they basically said she's been serving unlawfully. Pam Bondi came out and said that she will basically appeal this decision, and this fight continues on. This isn't also the only person. I believe in California, Trump did the same. I know in New York, Trump did the same, where the interim wasn't, served out his term, and then they gave him a different position, basically allowing him to carry on with the same things. They're doing everything to find every loophole to get people in. I'm not sure, like I said, why they're so concerned that Congress wouldn't approve the nominations, but whatever it is, they're doing their own lawless thing. And thank
Maybe
you.
it's
I will
because
try to
they
rest this weekend.
Maybe it's because they know that Bedminster is in New Jersey, and that's the president's property over there, and golf course, of course, we spent a lot of time. So having a favorable attorney there is quite useful, obviously. The next story on the Trump attorney track today is that War Room host and former Trump advisor Steve Bannon has spelled out a vision for how MAGA could attempt to subvert the 2026 midterm elections, including with the presence of immigration and customs enforcement, ICE agents at polling places. This is really concerning, but on his Tuesday show, Bannon laid out MAGA's media's theory of the case. He said, remember, for 2026, the mid-decade census that has to be right this time, no illegal aliens. You've got to get the algorithms right. The last is the mail-in ballots. And he went on to say, and the left is sitting there going, well, gosh, they take away mail-in ballots. People are going to have to show up. They're going to have ICE agents around. That's really interesting.
Yeah, so, normally I wouldn't include Bannon in my tracker because, I mean, the man is a sociopath, but he, was very instrumental in laying out the insurrection that was about to take place,
Yeah,
and he
he did.
clearly has a lot of insight into, planning and operations. And when he speaks, a lot of what is he's saying is actually, the playbook or the set of events that will take place. And here, I mean, frankly, he's giving us the playbook. He was also the one who said that, um, he basically was doing this on the ground movement to take over school boards, to take over local positions over the past several years in order to grab power. He's someone we should pay attention to. And if he's giving us a playbook of exactly what they plan to do, including, which last time I checked, ICE has absolutely nothing to do with polling places or voting, but including the use of ICE agents to try to intimidate voters, we need to listen. We have the playbook. He's laying it out for us. Trump is laying it out for us every time he speaks. And, we can use this information to basically counter and figure out a plan to push back against this.
So interesting because it really puts the whole immigration policy inside their scope of authoritarianism. Really, this is about making sure that immigrants are intimidated by voting or going to the voting booths. And that's why, as well, this mail-in ballots that they're wanting to ban. That also is probably part of that. So it's really interesting that he's framing it in that context, that, ICE is really there to help Trump win in 2026.
Exactly. And also, I mean, first of all, undocumented immigrants do not vote. So I'm not sure, they could sit there and, say it until they're blue in the face. I mean, it's still not going to change anything. But the point is to intimidate people. And again, with this mail-in voting, I just want to remind people that, I mean, Trump literally came and, uh, just and said that he had discussed this mail-in voting for with the expert on running elections, Vladimir Putin, the dictator thug. And Vladimir, basically agrees with him that mail-in should be, banned. Again, first of all, it's not Trump's business. This is a state issue. We need to basically make sure that our states, obliged by the laws on the books. Um, Trump cannot federalize elections as much as he wants to, but they're giving us the playbook. We need to take all this information instead of being angry or whatever, analyze what they are saying, and then, have plans to counter it in order for us to have a normal 2026 or semi-normal 2026 election.
It's a very important warning. CBS News has learned that Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, has issued a directive weeks ago to the U.S. intelligence community ordering that all information regarding the Russia-Ukraine peace negotiations not be shared with U.S. allied intelligence partners. The memo, dated July 20th and signed by Gabbard, directed agencies to not share information with the so-called Five Eyes. What's unusual? Why wouldn't we share information with our allies about our peace talks?
Well, I mean, that's the key. Allies, in normal people's minds for her. These are our adversaries, Europe and Canada and everyone into this actual regime. Yeah, again, it's first of all, it's dangerous. Second of all, if I were any one of the countries involved in the Five Eyes, I'd have long ago
I'm
turned it
surprised it
to
still exists, to be honest. I didn't realize they were still sharing information at all. But there you go.
Exactly. I turn it to the Four Eyes because America has no business in getting this intelligence unless the Four Eyes wants this information to be moved to Russia. But it just shows you, what the damage that they're doing with inside the intelligence community. Trust me, the Five Eyes or Four Eyes are not going to cry over the fact that Gabbard is denying them, this sharing. But it just shows you what is happening. And this is something, trust is key in intelligence sharing. Once you break that trust, I mean, it's going to be very hard to get this trust back, even if Trump, moves on at some point. And we're going to have to really learn the trust. And you know who benefits the most out of this Five Eyes? The United States. We have people operating all around the world. The Five Eyes are instrumental in sharing intelligence with us, both for domestic, purposes and for our missions abroad. And if you don't have intelligence agencies, sharing their intelligence with us to warn us about things that might potentially happen inside the United States or abroad. This is where we're going to be. We're the ones who are going to get hurt. And with them dismantling counterterrorism, counterintelligence units, and everything in the process, we're basically completely disarmed. And, we have our allies who really don't have trust in us.
Really helps Russia and China in that context. So it really gives them the upper hand. While, the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand are obviously still sharing information amongst themselves, but maybe not as much with the United States. So that's a big warning there
Someone
as well.
asked how Trump will spin the next terrorist attack. I can tell you that Putin loves terrorist attacks. He loves actually orchestrating them inside of Russia to crack down and to actually rein in more, hate powers. So Trump probably would use the opportunity of a terrorist attack to basically crack down and to even expand his powers because Putin has done this over the past 25 years.
Absolutely, on many occasions. That is the Trump Tyranny Tracker for today. It's Friday. It's time for the weekend. Do you have good plans this weekend, Olga, or are you just working?
My plans are to finally catch up on this tracker. So by Monday, I can actually be like on print, have everything out. So I plan to actually sit down and try to catch up as quick as I can and get everything finally out. And hopefully try to rest and get better. Maybe take some NyQuil and be able to sleep in the morning tomorrow.
Wouldn't
And
that be
that's it.
nice? So sleeping would be nice. And the NyQuil does help, I should say. Everyone should really subscribe to the Trump Tyranny Tracker and be ready for it when it's completely caught up to speed on Monday, because Olga does a terrific job of keeping all of us appraised of what's going on a day-to-day basis. There is no better database that I know of that has this kind of information, at least publicly available, where we can see day by day what the Trump regime has been doing to our democracy and the authoritarian measures that they're putting in place day by day. It's going to be a valuable resource, not only for now, but it's a valuable resource going forward into the future as people look back at this time, trying to understand what happened to American democracy.
Thank Thank you. And as a result, a lot of the things we discussed, in February, we were talking about a police state, and long and behold, we now have Washington, D.C., which literally is now, a police state, and California, and, coming to a city near you. So it also is good to actually see the patterns, to be able to prepare for what's coming.
Absolutely. It's really, really important. So everyone, please subscribe to the
And
Trump Tyranny
subscribe to you.
and subscribe to narrative.org, narativ.org. I'll still get my label. I got my label maker,
I will.
but I've got
I
to put the
will.
label.
Yeah, I'll make a label for you because you need to stop spelling it and actually have it right there in the background. That way you could say,
I
here,
know.
subscribe.
I will do that. I will do that. Maybe read my project for later on. I'll be back in 38 minutes from now, and we'll do the 5-stack with Dean Blundell. It might be a little late today, but it might be on time. I'm just going to find out where my 3 o'clock meeting is happening. But hopefully we'll do it on time. And have a great weekend, Olga. And to everybody who tuned in, have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend and thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.